Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spill the Tea with Tommy D. So this week we're going to do a new company called Happy Turtle Tea. This company I found just online, as I think they're an online-based, mostly online-based company, but they have a lot of, they're kind of similar to that tea and absinthe company where they have a lot of like nerdy and fandom-inspired teas, which if you haven't figured it out by now is kind of my jam. So this one is called Wookie Cookie. So it is a Star Wars inspired black tea blend. Its ingredients are black tea, lavender, currants, which are like kind of like a sweet sour kind of fruit, dried figs, and this stuff called calendula, which I had to look up. It's kind of like a flower, but it's got some antioxidants in it and some anti-inflammatory properties. So it might add a touch of flavor, but also has some holistic kind of good things going on in there, in addition to the stuff we get from our black tea. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to take a smell. Oh man, this tea right here. This tea smells amazing. All right, I can smell like the sweetness from the figs, but then I get that touch of lavender, and I expect it to taste very similar. It's just like this sweet lavender combination. I'm not like a huge lavender guy, in the sense that like a cup of straight lavender tea sometimes can be a bit overwhelming, but the sweetness with the touch of lavender is outstanding. So what I'm doing is, let's take a look at this tea first. So I can see these big chunks of dried figs. I can see the little purple flowers of the jasmine. I can see the black currants, and obviously I can see the black tea leaves. Then there's a couple other kind of petals in there, so I'm assuming that is the calendula, or whatever that stuff is. What was it? Calendula. Alright, so Happy Turtle Tea for this tea says boiling water. And they do a 6 ounce ratio, 1 teaspoon per 6 ounces, and this one is recommended for 4 minutes. I don't want my videos to be that long, so what I did is, ordinarily for my 16 ounce mug, it would have been about 2.5 teaspoons. So what I did is I'm going to double the tea so I can have the time. This is about the ratios. I barely scathed by in like chemistry and physics and all that stuff, but I can do tea math pretty easily. So I'm going to do 5 teaspoons for 2 minutes with my boiling water. But for your unexperienced folks, you stick to what they tell you. Alright? Boom. Okay. So we're coming up on almost a year now since COVID started. And we've been through hell. A lot of complaining about things. But you know what I realized? Just before COVID hit and all this nonsense, the big hot ticket thing people were complaining about were paper straws. That seems pretty trivial right now, doesn't it? Because it was like paper straws, paper bags, and it was like all that kind of stuff. What I wouldn't give right now for someone to come up to me and be like, can you believe these paper straws? They get a little bit soggy sometimes. But even now, almost a year later, I still got people coming up to me and just being like, I can't wear my mask. I can't hear when I have this thing on. But honestly, I miss the paper straw outrage. Because it was honestly the only thing that was kind of uniting the right and the left. Because, like, you know, the right was like, what do you mean? Plastic's bad for the environment? Yeah, global warming's a myth. And then even people who wanted to go green were like, wait, they're going to take away my straw? Right now, the only thing uniting the right and the left is apparently they use the same phrasing when their presidential candidate didn't win. I don't know if you've seen that, but everyone's now saying, not my president to Biden. So basically, you're all the same. Learn how to take a loss. But anyway, paper straws. So, what's ridiculous about the paper straw outrage thing is there's a lot of worse things that straws could be made out of. Like, imagine if you just took a straw and was like, well, this is sandpaper? Or scotch tape? Or a hypodermic needle? The list goes on. Like, if you poke a hole through the bottom of your straw, and you're like, yeah, these hypodermic needle straws are the worst. Because most people don't know, before there were plastic straws, there were paper straws. And before there were paper straws, there was just straw. Alright, so we've got our freshly brewed Wookie Cookie by Happy Turtle Tea. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit because it's going to be super hot. Let's take a look at these leaves. So before, I smelled a lot of like the sweetness from the figs and that little touch of lavender is pretty much the main highlights in this tea. Looking at it, black tea leaves opened up. You could see the figs kind of expanded a bit. They absorbed some of that water. Everything just kind of expands a little bit in this type of tea. There's no drastic unveiling of something. Okay, so now after the infusion, I can smell it's mostly a black tea smell, that rich, kind of earthy. No, this one's kind of more of a bark actually, as far as the black tea goes. All right, so let's take a taste now. Smelling it, smell that black tea leaves, the richness from just that kind of reminds me of a while back I did another black tea, and it actually kind of has some of that sweet potato, like underlying sweet potato notes to this black tea also. Oh man, that's good. So with the flavoring, the flavor combination between the lavender and the figs and a little bit of bitterness from the black currants, this tea reminds me, if you've ever had a lavender cake before. Lavender cake, most people like lavender and cake. It is amazing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sweet. A little bit of floral. The figs really like add this just deep overall sweetness, but not like overly sweetness, not sugary, but just like this natural sweetness to the tea. And then this balances out with this little bit of floral, and from the, I'm never going to remember how to name this, the calendula. The currants might just balance that sweetness out a little bit so you don't get over it, so it's not overly sweet. But overall, this tea is awesome. Oh yeah. Yep, like a lavender cake, man. Anyway, I could go on and on with this tea. I love it. Happy Turtle Tea Company. Check them out. They sent me, on top of the teas I bought, they sent me a lovely card with a coupon, and they sent me a couple little bags, too, of just teas to try. So, overall, I love a tea company that actually is not just like, here's your stuff, thanks. So, warm thank you card, samples, everything you need. Let's get back to complaining about the trivial stuff, because I'm tired of hearing people complain about the big stuff. Please like, share, and subscribe. Recommend some teas if you want me to try them, sample them, let you know what's going on. And we will see you on the next episode.